Hello, everybody. Welcome to Malty Monday. The Malty Monday beer today. Okay, so BJCP calls it an American wild specialty ale. It's a sour. It's a sour that everybody's always going after. They're usually fruited, vegetable. They can be barrel aged, but they have to have one of those aspects to them. So that's what makes it specialty. If there's anybody that's got a sour and they were confused about the whole American wild thing, if you got a sour and it's fruited, like here's mine. This is a blueberry sour with cacao nibs. Okay, that's what this is, pretty much. So if you're in the chat and you want to come in, I will leave the link in the chat so you guys can join into the StreamYards. I just want to now say my panel members that I do have on here. Going right to it's the left of me, but it's really my right, but it's the left. John and Nelly, Georgia Beer Reviews. We got Rash Metal Homebrew and Barbecue, aka Brian. We got Whiskey Scout, Robert. And we have Eric, Thomas Metal 75, and he's got a friend, so he's going to introduce him.
Howdy, Dave.
Dave?
Dave, yeah.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
Nice to meet you, too.
And I am Bumpy Road Brewery, aka Jesse, or just Bumpy. All right. Let me go ahead and just bring up the thing, get this through with my little share screen of what this beer is.
Sour notes on it.
So, wild specialty beer. Overall impression: a sour and or funky version of a fruit, herb, or spice beer, or a wild beer aged in wood. If wood aged, the wood should not be a primary or dominant character. Comments on this: a wild beer featuring fruit, herbs, spices, or wood based on a style other than lambic could be another classic style, normally sour or not. So it can be a Goza, it can be a Berliner Weiss, or it could be just any type of beer that's like a fruited ale that's been soured, or something more generic. Like I said, these beers may be aged in wood, but any wood character should not be a primary or dominant flavor. The history: modern American craft beer interpretations of Belgian wild ales were experimentations inspired by Belgian wild ales. Style comparison: like a fruit, herb, spice, or wood beer, but sour and or funky. Okay. So we will stop share. So that's what this is. So it's pretty much it's the sour beers that a lot of people are out there doing their reviews on. It's got a fruit, a vegetable, or if it doesn't have either one of those, it should at least have wood.
It's a male beer.
Male-oriented beverage.
So we got through that. I want to say cheers to the chat. We've had some folks pop in pretty early on because we've just been kind of hanging out. Anelli's been jamming to some music, getting his pre-game on, getting ready for this because he's pumped.
His Vogue.
Right, Anelli, you're pumped. You're first, buddy. You got to be pumped. You're going to be the first one to go.
First.
So cheers to Jacob Downey, though, for showing up early. I don't know if he's still here. Flacco, thank you so much. You did also show up early. Hopefully you come back. And also, if anybody in the chat, like you said, has a beer, I'm going to leave the link right about now. We got Paul Middlefrew, and we got Craft Beer Pours. So cheers to everybody in the chat, and Drunken One, who was hanging out with us earlier. He'll be back in on the after show to help us do a poll dance. So let me
Ooh, whoa, what?
Oh no.
So,
I didn't want to post that. I was about to post the entire BJCP write-up. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is move on to John and Nelly while I figure out what the heck I'm doing here. So if you want to introduce your beer, go through the whole smell, tasting, and all that.
Yeah, I got the beer. There it is. I opened
Dutch State for going. Yes.
This is the Duchesse de Bourgogne.
Yeah.
Was that funny? Is that funny to you?
Yes.
That's what it is. It's the fucking Duchesse de Bourgogne. It's a Duchesse de Bourgogne is an authentic Flemish red ale brewed and bottled in Belgium. This refined ale, also known as the Burgundies of Belgium, is a blend of beer matured in different oak casks for many months, 100% natural. So we've got the double Belgium, we've got the double aging with the barrel aged and the whatever. It definitely qualifies for this examination.
Oh yeah.
But it's not American.
Don't put your eye out.
Look at that.
Still damn good beer.
Duchesse de Bourgogne.
Bourgogne.
Fermented beer, Flemish red. That's
Bourgogne.
that's aged in oak casks for months. There you go. There's the appearance.
That's good.
It's a very dark appearance. Sweet, tart, cherry.
Canadian bourbon style.
It smells like vinegar and cherry. That's what it smells like. Ooh.
Is it overwhelming?
No, it's not overwhelming, but it smells like if you took cherries and put them in white vinegar. Very cherry and vinegar. It's a weird aroma. I'll give you that. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Is it Barney? Like barnyardy?
It tastes like no, it tastes like yeah, like oh yeah, very barnyardy, very in my face with the flavor. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's you know, citrus. It's one of those.
Does the vinegar come through a lot or no?
Yes, yes,
does.
it does.
Okay. So it kind of throws it.
It's one of those like, yeah, cherry vinegar. It's weird. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to change your beer, if you have another one, feel free to do that, Jimmy.
No,
As you hear something go,
this beer, it's not bad. The Duchesse de Bourgogne.
Duchesse de Bourgogne.
It's not a bad beer, but it's a vinegar. Like it's got a very acidic flavor and aftertaste to it.
What's the ABV, John? I didn't catch that.
It's 6%.
Okay.
What's the date on? Did they give you a date on the bottle?
You want some in your glass?
probably be on the cork.
Well, because I've had that beer and I absolutely loved it, so I didn't get any vinegar characters. So I'm just wondering.
Hey.
Expires 2021. It's still fresh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very acidic. Very very strange. Very strange beer.
Would you buy it again?
Yeah, sure. It's
You
just
said it
straight,
was
it's just got that the acidity.
You said it's $9 for that bottle, right? I
Whoa.
think that's what you said earlier.
How much?
I think it's $9 for that.
$11.99 for the bottle.
Oh, $11.99. Sorry.
But it's a good, I got.
Where's it from? The Georgia.
Yeah. It's gonna get done. We're gonna drink it.
Heck yeah, man.
All right.
It's just very, very acidic, very sweet, very. It's very strange.
Do you think it's all coming from the yeast?
Yeah, I think mostly from the yeast. And then I think the remainder of it is coming from the. No, I guess.
It looks like Craig had it before. He says it's classic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've had it. That was the first beer I've ever scored 100 or a perfect score. I didn't do 100. I did 50 out of 50.
I like this beer. I'm not trying to take away from the. I do like this beer, but it's strange.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if there was just something whack with it because it was very sweet with a tartness to me. When I had, I didn't get any vinegar, so
Hit me off.
could be a bad bottle.
Yeah. But
Or
I'll
going bad.
move on. We'll come back with your scoring afterwards. When we get back around, I think the next person up is going to be Thrash
All right.
Metal Homebrew. So I'm going to pop you right up big.
Right. Hometown Avery doing the Algoza German style sour ale. This is a 4.5% and is an ale with limes. So it meets the criteria. I passed it past BuMpY and he gave the thumbs up. So it meets the criteria. I passed it past BuMpY and he gave the thumbs up. So
Shit.
what's up, Beer Man? It meets the criteria. I like hearing myself a couple times. That's cool. What's up, Beer Man?
Bear Man, that's definitely you. I just added you, so you got to figure that one out.
Heavily effervescent. Look at that. It's not holding a head at all, which is usually the style of the sour. So got that tartness right on top. Yeah, and the lime's coming through too. It also said it had sea salt in it, so I'm smelling a bit of that as well. Guess they're trying to do like a Corona style sour. Add the lime and the sea salt. Nothing coming through citrusy except that lime. There's no other like zest of like orange or anything like that or grapefruit. Right at the beginning, there was like a punch of something sweet, and then it just went away. And it is kind of like when you first bite into a lime, where you get that kind of the sweetness, and then it tarts right off. That comes through. Real. It's bright on the palate. That it's highly carbonated. It finishes a little weak, a little thin, but throughout the taste, from the time that you drink it until it goes down, it's pretty even all the way through. It doesn't. The tartness isn't overwhelming at all. The lime is very prominent in it. The sourness takes second in the taste. So cheers.
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 Yeah, there's not many things to talk about on this beer. It's kind of it's not boring at all. It's a good sour with the lime, but that's about all you're playing with. I mean, sure, I'd buy it again, but it wouldn't be the best sour I've ever had. It's not the worst I've ever had either. So, yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
That'll cool as that.
All right. So, Avery. I'd like to start getting stuff from Avery.
Yeah, they're out of Boulder here in Colorado.
Yeah, they're not bad. I like Avery.
Right. So, Whiskey Scout, you're next in my line of fire.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm red eye.
Okay, you're fully clothed. I'm gonna bring you up.
Well, hold on.
Look, my eyes, they're burning. They're burning.
Okay, what I got a Firestone and Walker Brewing Company at the Beretta Blanc. I didn't know what a wild ale was, so when it said wild ale on the label there, I figured it's a wild ale.
Yep.
Fermented with white grape juice. It's 8.9% alcohol by volume.
Nice.
Barrel ratio 100% French oak. Maturation time 12 to 36 months. It does have a titratable acidity of 9.0 grams per liter. So whatever that means to you beer guys, means nothing to me.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
So flora is B. lambicus, B. brocimalamus, whatever, L. brevis, and something else, D. whatever. I think that's all the different hot or yeast varieties they used in it. Anyway, it's done with Chenin Blanc grapes, grown over 3 seasons, in our very own David Walker's Kingsley Vineyard, whatever. It's got a lot of other shit wrote on it. It's
You say shit Blanc grapes? Wait a minute, what?
so,
Perfect pour. Look at that.
yep.
Those shitty Blanc grapes.
Yo, Shiza Blanc.
Shizer Blanc. All right.
She's got plenty of carbonation there. She's fuzzed up and then she's dying pretty quick.
Fading fast.
She can't walk.
I do get the grape. Oh, and it's a very my mouth is already salivating from the sour. I'm just getting through the nose itself. But I like very tart things, so this is something that I will enjoy. I get a lemony scent with everything as well, citrusy lemony. And it's kind of more like a lemon head lemony. It's not like a fresh lemon or nothing. It's more like a sweet lemon head sort of. That's how it comes across. Those are the main things I get just up front. It's just real citrusy, and you get, like I said, you do get the grape note. The barrel, I'm not getting any of the barrel.
So the grape notes that you're getting, you said it was white grape, right? Is it pretty prominent?
No, it's more like white grape juice. If you ever drink white grape juice, it's kind of more along the lines of that. Actually, the lemon note is kind of overriding that a little bit, the citrusy lemon notes. But you get it. I got it more strongly when I first opened it than I am now. It's kind of the citrus is taken over. Anyway.
Drinky.
Cheerios.
Okay. Oh. Lemon vanilla custard pie.
Wow.
That is what
Oh, man.
I mean. That is exactly that kind of creamy. You're getting that creaminess with it.
Sounds like a dessert beer.
Yes, but it's sour. It's not overly sweet. It's not like a pie that they've dumped a lot of sugar in. Okay, you're getting more of a tart sensation.
Does it balance the sweetness out with the tartness?
I'm sorry.
Does it balance out the sweetness with the tart? Is it pretty even? Or
Well, I think it's probably a little more on the tart side than the sweet side myself. But it's there, and there's like a creamy or almost a creamy note. I mean, like meringue. It's weird, but it's there. You can really get it. I mean, I get it very. It's good. Hell, I could drink. They weren't $9.99 each. I could buy a whole bunch of those.
Sounds interesting. I'll see if I can get that around here.
Maybe it's time to sell some of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
whiskey bottles behind you.
Not gonna happen.
He's got to drink through them first, and then he'll sell the bottle.
Yeah.
Maybe. Right.
Yeah, I'd sell the bottles. I usually throw them away. Anyway, I really like it. Go to, let me think on it some more, and you can go to somebody else, and we'll get back to this.
Cheers.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, we'll be moving on over to Thomas Middle 75
Okay.
and his friend
Dave.
was it Dave?
Yes.
Yep.
Dave's not here, man.
Oh,
Fire, man.
I gotta go back to I gotta go back to Drunken One's little comment back there.
Okay.
There we go.
So we're
for
drinking
you.
on. We're splitting a little 11.2 ounce bottle of, I know, a little tiny bottle of sour cherry soak American sour wheat ale aged in oak barrels from a Trillium Brewing Company.
I'm jealous now.
Oh yeah,
Have you
yeah.
had
It's
that
one of
one
those
before,
hoppy,
Jared?
bitter New England beers. No, not really. This was bottled all the way back on January 17th, 2019. So it's been aging, and it was
About a
bottle
year.
conditioned. So
It's about a
yeah,
year.
so it's been doing its thing. They ferment the base beer, their base sour here, their sour wheat ale with 60% wheat in large oak fodders for several months. And they're using house lactobacillus strain and their native New England mix culture. It is a Pilsner white wheat flake wheat malt, U.S. Goldings, and it's 6% alcohol with sour cherries. So we already poured it into our glass.
Nice.
It has a light sort of purple-ish color, I guess, kind of orangey to the look. It does have a little bit of head on my glass, but not a giant,
No, this
not a
fades pretty
giant
fast.
amount.
This fades pretty quickly though.
With lots and lots of effervescence and bubbles. And we're definitely getting giant amount of like that funky barnyard, yeasty, earthy kind of nose to it. Very sour and vinegary on my end. What do you think, Dave?
You can definitely smell like the acidicness to it. You really
Yep.
can.
The cherries don't. I mean, I'm getting a dark fruited quality, but that's kind of in the background to me. It's not like huge screaming to me cherry in the actual scent to it.
No, it's not. I'm not picking up any cherry at all.
If you've just had a lactobacillus kind of a beer, you know exactly what you're gonna get out of that. Not even a huge amount of wood, but there is a little bit of woodiness, but not a giant amount. But it smells inviting. I know where thrash metal was saying it's kind of making them salivate a little bit. So
salute.
yeah, let's get into that one. Ooh. Wow.
Yeah.
That is mouth puckering. There's so much cherry in the background. It's not really cherry syrupiness. It's almost like a cherry cola kind of sweetness to it, like a cherry syrup.
It's got cherry, and you have the acidness of like kind of like a lemon or something like that.
Yes, definitely
And
lemony.
that's kind of what you're kind of like grabbing right here.
I'm getting all that Pilsner malt up front, to be completely honest. It's very smooth and light, and then it develops quickly to this very tart, lemony warhead with the cherries at the end of the sip.
Very much like the warhead kind of feel for it. So I guess the question basically I have to ask you is right off the bat is, as soon as you had it too as well, how long did it like last basically like your flavor profile before it dissipated pretty quickly?
2 seconds, 3 at the most.
Yeah.
It's a very dry beer. It's very dry. It's very crisp. It's refreshing for what it is. You have to be in the mood for basically lemon sour warhead puckering in the mouth. It is a puckering sour beer.
It's a pretty good palate cleanser if I could do say so
Yep.
myself too as well.
Definitely has a good seltzer spritzy.
I mean, it's like whatever you had before to eat, like have one of this and just go on right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so far so good, but you do have to like ultra soured beers to really get into this one.
Yeah.
Or have an appreciation for that. So I'd say so far so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, what's this sitting on for ABV right about now?
This is 6.0 ABV.
Actually, ain't too bad at all.
No, not too bad.
Nice.
So what was the price point on this one?
I think it was like $3.05 or somewhere between like $3 and $5 for the singular bottle.
So
Yeah,
not
that's not bad at
too
all.
bad.
Not too
Yeah.
bad for that. No.
So it sounds like easily crushable too as well.
Yeah. This is easily crushable if you're looking for knock your face off sour.
So I'm willing to bet probably dollars and donuts. This is probably more like a summertime kind of like beverage too as well.
Yeah, warmer months
imagine-
would be nice with this.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like crushing like one of these things during the wintertime.
The dead of winter, just give me Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
Thomas and Dave out for now. Woo.
Sweet. Well, with that and that last comment, we're gonna move on to Beer Man. And Beer Man, don't make me boot you out of here. If you brought that Imperial Porter, I tell you, man.
No, I had to go search quick, dude. Shoot, man, I got so I went with like a local company out of where are they at? Bend, Oregon, about 2.5 hours away from me, east of me. It's the by 10 Barrel Brewing Company. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. I think they distribute pretty far out. It's a cherry cinnamon sour.
Interesting.
I wasn't really into the cinnamon.
Weird.
It's
Yeah, I've never had that.
Yeah, I don't. 6.3%. Not a bad ABV. You know, I mean, a lot higher than I thought. I thought it'd be a little lower. But yeah, I mean, it's plain cans, just crush. I mean, they have like two others. They have like a cucumber one and a raspberry one or something. But
Looks like a seltzer can.
yeah,
It kind of does.
it has like a rosé look to it. So head's about half a finger and going quick. It's got a rosy looking color to it. You get hints of cinnamon. It's not like totally crazy, but you do get that sour cherry, kind of like a sour. You get that the lactic acid, the sours. You know, everything's coming out like it's got that cherry. You definitely get the cherry. You definitely get a pinch of cinnamon. It doesn't sound too overwhelming though. It doesn't smell too overwhelming. I'm really curious to what this tastes like. It's hazy. You can see shadows.
It's got great color.
Yeah, not a bad color. Kind of like what's that freaking tomato juice shit?
Clamato or whatever.
Kind of like Clamato, yeah.
Yeah.
A little more cherry looking though. It's got a white head. It's not really a colored head or anything. The lacing seems okay. It's a fast rising bubble. Let's taste this. Oh man, you know it's not bad. It's tart. It's sour. It's tart. It's more of a sweet like tardiness. It's not really like sour or like this crazy astringency or anything like that. It's not a puckeriness or anything. It's very smooth, nice mouthfeel, clean and crisp. You get a hint of cinnamon in the back and the finish with that cherry, like the like the red cherries. I don't know the names of these cherries, but it's the ones with the seeds in them. What's those kind you get in a bag? And
the cherries. Yeah, snack on.
Maraschino.
Maybe.
No, maraschino doesn't have the seeds.
What are they called?
Oh, whatever.
You're talking about the pits. Cherries with the pits. Black cherry.
You're talking
more
about
like
black cherry ones?
More like those red cherries with the little, you know, like they got a stem and a pit.
Yeah. Cherry.
Like that, but sour. You know, you're getting more of the sour, the souriness, the puckeriness. But that cinnamon's really well rounded around the outside of your tongue on your cheeks. But it's not overwhelming. It's actually pretty nice. It's not bad. It's well balanced.
Sounds good.
Yeah, really. I mean, I got a 6-pack. I had to. It's $11.50 for the 6-pack, so I'm kind of glad it tastes good.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't have to refund you then. That's cool.
What a relief.
That's about it, though. Yeah.
Montmorency cherries, Paul says.
Don't know.
Maybe.
I'll have to
Sounds good. We'll go with that.
One of those cherries.
That's correct.
We'll go with that.
Right.
Nice.
So is that's what you got to say about it for right now, Beer Man?
Yeah, for now, are you
Right.
going to do scores after? Or?
Yeah, I'll come back around and do scoring after. So I'm going to present myself, and and we'll get on with the rest of this
Right on.
night. Sweet. So I got a beer that matches my shirt. It is the blueberry sour with cacao nibs from Collective Arts. Normally they're out of someplace in Canada, but they did open up a brewery in the United States out of Wenatchee, Wisconsin. So that's where this one comes from. This brew is 5.6% ABV, and it is about, we'll call it a month and a half old right now. Just a little under that, but now this is a beautiful color. Very purple. The head on it is pinkish purple color. Tight but fizzy head. And the beer itself is this murky purplish blue coloration. The aromas. First thing I notice is chocolate. So the cacao nibs are really coming through. Little bit of a blueberry note coming up with some tartness in the aroma. Cheers to Jeremy Benson, who just joined in. And yeah, that's about it. I can't really smell much past the aromas of the cacao nibs and that little bit of tart blueberry coming through. I can't really pick up on a malt backbone in this. So let's go ahead and get the first swig. Cheers. So it's got quite a bit of a tartness at first. It does go into a bit of a sour note tail end on the back of the tongue. It's a blend between like a blueberry and chocolate, so like a chocolate covered blueberry almost, but with that tart and sour note coming through. Still no detectable malt flavors. So, I mean, I'd have to say it's probably on the lighter side, like cracker type notes, if it wasn't so powerful with that blueberry and chocolate note. Mouthfeel on this, it's about a medium, like a medium to high medium carbonation level. So it's fairly fizzy. It does have a drying effect. It's actually causing some phlegm to build in my mouth. So interesting combination there with the cacao nibs being added for that chocolate note in a sour. So I'm going to bring us all back. We'll run through our scoring. We'll pass over John. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to see if he's okay. If Thrash, if you want to go ahead and start off with your
Sure.
scoring.
So again, Avery Elgoza, I forgot to say that it did have a can dating. It's August 15th of last year. So, it's got a little bit of time on it, but that's pretty good. After drinking on it a little bit, some of the taste on it, the lime taste, kind of remind me of margarita almost because of the salt in it as well. So that comes through. It's a good beer. I mean, I'll give it an A. I'll give it probably a 93 out of 100 on this. So Avery puts out a really good product. You don't have anything that's in here that is junk at all. Where you get some of those sours that are just like they wanted to make a sour and they wanted to see a pucker. This one's well balanced with the tartness and the sweetness and the saltiness. I mean, they balanced it out really good. So for a sessionable beer, yeah, it's really good. So 93.
Nice.
Mm.
So we'll drop down to Robert,
All
Whiskey
right.
Scout.
I don't. This one is bottled on April 16th of 19, but with the 8.9% ABV, I don't think it's gonna. And this kind of beer, I think, probably still does a little finishing in the bottle. I could be wrong, but anyway. And I know what gives me the meringue taste now. It's a vanilla, and that's probably coming from the barrel that I'm getting here. I'm not really getting an oak sensation per se, but I do have a vanilla that's giving me that meringue and that cream in it. I like it. I mean, but I've had very few Firestone and Walker creations that I have not liked. I mean, you pay a premium, but they give you generally a very good product. 95 though. If it wasn't for $9.99 each, if they were just half of that price, I wouldn't have a problem buying about 6 or 7 and just pounding them because I like them. They're
Robert, the tart stout.
Yeah, the tart stout. The tart stout scout.
Right.
Did that 15 times.
That 15 tons. Woo.
Hey, you did it. Good job.
Yes. I want
But anyway, I like it.
Oh, that's what there.
So,
Thomas.
Oh,
metal.
whoa, we're on tap, David. What do you think of this sour cherry soak, David?
All right. Well,
here's the label, people.
I mean, I say we can both agree on it's sessionable too as well.
Yeah.
We're being a very, I wouldn't say overly boozy, basically. Sounds like
no.
It seems like the flavor profiles that they were dealing with here, though, is just big and bold. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, definitely. Full, sour, puckering sensation. Yeah.
I'm talking like fresh, like lemon warhead, basically at that point. So, I mean, if I'm going to give this a rating out of 100, I feel pretty comfortable probably putting this somewhere like around like, a 91.
I'll go with you on that. Why not? It's not super, super, super cherry. I'm getting a lot of the tart cherry notes towards the end of the sip when it dries out, but just initially it's all that vinegary, all that lemoniness, all that. I'm getting a good bready Pilsner malt, so it is keeping with the drinkability a little bit. And it's not really screaming at me like a wheat beer, even though they're using 60% of the malt bill is the wheat. It doesn't like scream to me normal flavors of wheat beer. It's just like you're getting the onslaught of sour flavor. So that would be my only really complaint to it is that it's as well as it is a good beer at 91. I do think that it's a little bit too sour to the point where it may be hard for some people to really pull out the different flavors of the different ingredients they use in the beer.
That's that's also pretty interesting to me too as well, because when we both poured this, you had the first pour too as well. I had the back end. So for mine, as I showed you my glass too as well.
I had all the sediment.
I had a heavy amount of sediments in mine too as well.
Yep.
I could have grown a plant off of how much sediment I had too as well.
So
I mean, I'm thinking to myself, would this have been better if we aged this maybe like another year or two as well? Because I know when it was done too as well. This was like January of 2019. And right now we're about a month plus one exactly, and a little bit of change too as well. So, I mean, what do you think? Probably an extra year. Probably could have used.
Maybe. Who knows? These bottle conditioned beers can last for a little bit of time in the cellar.
Maybe something basically to put on the back burner too as well for revisiting it.
Age your sours maybe if they're bottle conditioned, people.
Awesome.
They are good candidates for that, not just the high ABV beers will age.
So yeah, I'd say it's worth the science project.
Yeah, why not?
Nice.
Boom.
Yeah.
Beer man.
Right. Man, this as well rounded as this was, I mean, they weren't lying. They said cherry cinnamon. I was thinking cinnamon was going to be overwhelming. Thank God they were thinking the way I was thinking when they made this beer, because cinnamon would have been really bad. Being that the tartness was real nice, it was almost like a sweet tart. It wasn't so super sour that it was like puckering. I wasn't sitting there going, it's actually a very nice, for what it is, I'd have to say that out of on my scale of what I do, I would give it a 5 out of 5. It was truly an amazing beer. I could drink the rest of these no problem, and just had a really good flavor to it. And those are called sour cherries, I guess. There's a certain sour cherry. I imagine that's probably what it's called. But not bad at all. 5 for sure. I recommend this. Anyone that can find this, get it. Check it out.
Nice.
Very good. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, I don't think John's coming back. So I'm going to go ahead and remove him from the stream right now. If he does come back, then he can join back in. From what he described the beer as, he said it was good. He was picking up on vinegar notes and stuff like that, which I've had that beer before, and I thought it was like a very dessert like great beer. I rated it a 50 out of 50 on my BuMpY 50-point selection scale. First beer I had ever done that for. So I don't know if John just wasn't feeling well and was picking up on off flavors based off of maybe a bug or something he may have picked up, but we'll say it was a good beer for him, and
give him a straight C.
Give him a C. On mine, this beer, it's interesting with the, like I said, with the cacao nibs having a chocolate note with a sour. It's interesting. It's different. Certain things it does are nice. It does the drying effect, which I like in sours. It has some blueberry notes in there, which is nice. It does go tart to sour, which is also nice in a sour. Things it's missing any real malt backbone to it. This is more like a blueberry chocolate drink that's sour. So the enjoyability on it, drinking it over and over again, it's not really that high for me. It's like a good one beer, and hey, I tried it and it was good. But for me, I'm thinking this is like an 87 out of 100 as far as sour goes. So
B+ player.
87 out of 100 for the blueberry sour with cacao from Collective Arts.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, I've had chocolate with blueberry flavoring before. It's different, even in that form. And I can only imagine if you try to combine it with a sour.
Yeah. I wanted to try it though because I saw that. I was like, "Oh, cacao nibs, gotta do it."
Yeah.
But let's see. I mean, does anybody have any other things they want to talk about? We can do some general chit chat before we sign off here if you want. We got a few moments. I think we can do that. If there's anybody in the basement, let me see if I can leave the link again. If you do have a sour, you can come on in and run through your sour. We got some time for you to do that.
That's a nugget nectar.
If there's anybody in the basement that just wants to come in and join before we do end up canceling the show or shutting the show down anyways, you can come on in and do that as well. What I hope for is the panel that we do have to stick around afterwards, though, to try to come up with 4 different styles that we can then, or at least I will then pick from whatever the style that wins in the polling system that we'll do. And I hope Drunken One will once again create that polling system for us. It will be listed in our Hangout groups. Also, I will post it in the description of this video once it airs, so you can all vote. Voting stops when Wildcard Wednesday ends. If Wildcard Wednesday doesn't happen, then I'm going to say 8 p.m. is the deadline on Wednesday. So get your voting in on the poll when it does go up to try to get a style that you would like to see and or join us. This is an open panel for the most part. You do have various members coming in, some repeat offenders, and yeah. it's not a set panel, and like I said, we can rotate through if this does blow up and there's something that everybody has one and they want to join on panel. And also to everybody that's in the chat, hey, if you don't want to join up on panel and you just want to enjoy the show a little bit more, go out and try to find some of these styles that are popping up to drink with us. So while we're discussing them, maybe you can search for aspects in the beer that you have, even if you're not up on panel. I think that can be fun. So I'm going to stop talking right now. And anybody else have anything going on in the world?
Not much.
No, sour number 2 is pretty good.
Sour number 2 is good.
Yeah, it's raspberry flavored.
Cool.
I guess
I'll bring you up. What was that? It was petite something.
if you went to straight A.
Crooked Dave out of Denver, Colorado. It's a petite sour raspberry. Because I couldn't figure out so I bought 2 wild ales. This is aged Anoka raspberries, and so I ain't gonna let it sit there and collect dust. So.
I like your whiskey.
Good man.
I'm gonna drink it now. It's only 4.5% alcohol by volume, but I really like the but I like raspberries. So
yeah.
Raspberries are. I really like raspberries.
Raspberries are good.
Yes, they are.
But it tastes
Blackberries
like
are good
raspberry.
too. I don't know. It's a toss up for blackberries and raspberries for me. Boysenberries also.
Well, I like
Blackberries.
yeah.
I guess
I
the boysenberries like a crossbreed between blackberries and raspberries or something like that.
thought that was Marion berries or something.
Oh no, you don't eat
Berry
those.
berry?
Those give you the diarrhea.
They're all good. I like them all. But I like
Barry Wood. There you go.
as a kid.
Yeah, Barry was. Barry goes.
Yeah.
Even as but
There he
now
goes again.
Barry Sanders.
I like them better. Berries.
Yeah, a little bit of a little cake cup and some whipped cream on them.
Never mind.
Yum.
I'm just gonna drink my raspberry and be quiet.
Well, we still have a little bit of a group there in the chat. If you guys are not up on panel, can you try to collaborate and come up with something that you would like to see as far as a style? So anything lager, sours again, porter stouts, red ales,
American adjuncts.
yeah, American well, if you say lagers, there could be an American adjunct. I might just go with that. Yeah, if you want to throw something in the chat real quick before we go off air and try to come up with our 4 to put in the poll. Vodka and water, says Blake.
I know, I saw that. I was like,
That's all he drinks.
A beer man says Imperial Porter. Hey, you're going to be in the damn thing, so we'll put in porters and stouts for you, okay?
It's gonna be well aged.
Yeah, man,
And porters and stouts will probably be back on the
It'll be
poll
well
again,
aged.
I'm sure.
It'll be there every week till we stop doing this.
Yeah. Porters, I think porters, stouts, and probably sours and stuff are probably going to be on there, but I think it's sours. So I think I'm going to count down from 10. I haven't seen John and Ellie, haven't heard from John and Ellie, so everybody please pray for him. We would like to
Hope you
have
don't
him
have
back.
explosive diarrhea, John.
Yeah. I guess the pregame was just too much. But
yeah, he was pretty hyper earlier.
Yeah, he was. I was out working on the truck and he was hollering at me on I'm not going to quit. I've got 2 shocks in my face and I got to get them done.
well, that's where I'm kind of like he was he's been cutting back on some drinking. He doesn't drink as often, so I think when you start to
gone.
drink a little bit
Yeah.
and you've kind of slowed down a little bit, it can have an effect on you, or he's got a little bug of something, and that can also affect you because
the way he was looking when he was drinking that beer, I don't think it was setting on his stomach very well.
It didn't look like it.
It didn't look
yeah, I left him a little chat in the private chat. I told him to go eat some food, and that's what I thought he was doing,
looks
but
like
he's
I'm
been
back.
gone for a while. So, FACP says I'm an ale kind of guy. My second favorite is a good bitter beer, Red Hook bitter. So yeah, bitters are something that we can put up there as a category. Is everybody in the chat in favor of a bitter? That can be one of the four. So
yeah, bitters are good.
Who are they killing, Bumpy?
So one of the things that we'll put up on the poll. Why not? We'll have bitter up there, and we'll come up. We're gonna go off air now. We'll come up with 3 other beers to throw on the poll. Drunken one, are you around? It'd be good to
He's
have you
probably
back
eating a
because
steak.
you're gonna create the poll, Drunken one.
Right.
Actually, we got Bear Man. We don't need Drunken one. We got Bear Man. He's got over 1,000 subs.
Ah.
All right. Well, cheers, everybody. I want to thank my panel for joining in this week. I want to thank the chat for coming in and also the viewers. Anybody that doesn't post in the chat but just watches us get silly and drink beer and maybe hopefully learn something and experiment on different styles and stuff that you're not used to, because beer is it's a great liquid, and
Chemistry.
many different variations. So if you don't like one, try and try and try and try and try and try.
You have many opportunities to find the right beer.
Many opportunities to find the right thing.
Hellish, yeah.
Hellish, yeah. All right. Well, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there.
we're signing
No,
out.
you go
And
there.
Brian's getting all the BuMpy-isms that he can in at the end of the stream.
Right, your ass, you went there.
Good night, guys.
Good night.